Hi, and welcome to the Clear English Corner. I'm Keenan, your personal American accent coach. In this video lesson, you're going to learn all about the American T. Before we jump into today's lesson, I want to make sure you know that there's more lessons coming on the Clear English Corner. So be sure to subscribe and tap the bell so that you get a notification every time a new lesson is published. So jumping into today's topic, the American T. The T sound is one of the most common consonant sounds in the English language, and Americans have a distinct way of pronouncing this sound depending on where it is in a word and what sounds come around it. There's actually 4 different T sounds in American English, and today we're going to talk about all 4. We'll talk about the true T, the flap T, the held T, and the vanishing T. So let's start first with the true T, 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 t. This is the sound you expect to hear when you see the letter T. It's clear, it's concise, it's distinct. It's made by taking your tongue tip and tapping it on the ridge behind your top front teeth. T, t, t. You hear this sound at the beginning of words like to, take, tell. You're also going to hear this sound at the beginning of stressed or emphasized syllables in words like until, hotel, and return. If you're not sure what I mean by stressed syllable, make sure you check out my series on word stress, where you'll learn exactly how to identify and pronounce the super special emphasized syllables in English. The true T also happens in consonant clusters. A cluster is when 2 consonant sounds occur right next to each other and you say them both. So, for example, ST as in stop. STR as in street, and TR as in tree. Consonant clusters also occur at the end of words in English. You'll hear that true T sound in clusters like CT as in fact, FT as in lift, LT as in melt, ST as in best, and PT as in kept. There's one final T cluster that doesn't follow along with the others, and that's NT. And I'm going to talk more about that one in just a second. So a quick recap, you're going to hear true T at the beginning of words, at the beginning of stressed syllables, and in consonant clusters that have T. Moving on to the flap T. The flap T is really just a D sound, and this flap T happens when T is in the middle of words in between 2 vowel sounds. So for example, take this word, W-A-T-E-R. Instead of water, water, water. Do you hear that flap T or the D sound? Water. I need a drink of water. C-I-T-Y. Instead of city, city. City. I live in the city. Try this one with me. L-A-T-E-R. Later. I'll see you later. One more. B-E-T-T-E-R. Better. I hope you feel better. Flap T will also happen in between words when one word ends in a vowel sound and T and the next word starts with a vowel sound. For example, take what is. Instead of a true T, what is, you're going to put in that D sound or flap T. What is? What is this? Another example, but I. Instead of that true T at the end of the word but, try the flap T. But I. But I. But I said that. A recap on flap T, or the D sound, you're going to hear this quick D sound when the T comes between 2 vowel sounds, whether that's within a word or in between 2 words. Okay, T number 3. This is the held T. When you make the T sound, there's actually 3 steps to this process. Step 1, the air comes up through your lungs and into your mouth. Then step 2, your tongue tip raises up to the ridge behind your top front teeth and stops the air. And step 3, the air is released in an air puff. For the held T, you just skip step 3. You hold the tip of your tongue against the ridge behind your top front teeth, and you don't release any air. Held T happens at the end of words in American English. For example, take the word about. Instead of that true T at the end, most Americans are going to hold that T, about. My tongue tip goes to the ridge behind my teeth and just stays there. About that. The tongue tip stays up for the T and goes straight into the TH sound. The tongue tip goes under the front teeth for the TH sound. About that. About that. Let's talk about that. Let's try another one together. Let's try it was. It. The tongue goes up for the T at the end of the word it, holds there, and then straight into the W sound for was. It was. It was. It was awesome. Another time you're going to hear the held T is at the end of a syllable when the next syllable starts with a consonant sound. For example, the word outside. Instead of outside, outside. The tongue stays up for the T and goes straight into the S sound. Outside. Let's eat outside tonight. Try another one with me. Apartment. Instead of apartment, apartment. I love my new apartment. And remember how I said that cluster NT at the end of words doesn't follow the true T like other consonant clusters? It's because the NT at the end of words, you're going to hear a held T for that cluster. So for example, the word student. Instead of student, student. My tongue stays up for the T sound after the N. Student. I'm glad I'm not a student anymore. Another example, president. The President of the United States. Again, that T is held after the N in the NT cluster. So to recap, held T happens at the end of words and at the end of syllables when the next syllable starts with a consonant sound and in the NT cluster. So let's talk about vanishing T. Sometimes in American English, that T just disappears completely. It happens when the T comes after the N or N sound in an unstressed syllable. Vanishing T after the N sound in words like internet. So instead of internet, you'll hear a native speaker say internet. Do you have internet access? Printer. Instead of that true T, printer, you'll hear a lot of native speakers say printer. Can I use your printer? Recap on vanishing T. A lot of times that T just drops out with native speakers after the N sound or N sound in an unstressed syllable. The reason for this is because the N and the T sound are both made at the ridge behind your top front teeth. It's easier to drop the T sound out instead of doing a double tap. It's easier to say internet than internet. Over time, this easier pronunciation has just won out, and that's why you'll hear a lot of native speakers just drop that T completely. So there you have it for the scoop on the American T pronunciation. Now this is definitely an advanced lesson in the American accent. If you use the true T in all of these instances, you definitely won't be misunderstood. However, if you're at the point where you're really wanting to sound more natural and native in your American English pronunciation, this sound is well worth your time. When you use the true T in all instances, it's a definite tell that American English is not your native language. I hope you found this lesson helpful. If you did, please be sure to give me a thumbs up below and share the video with your friends. Remember, there's more lessons coming on the Clear English Corner, and you are not going to want to miss these. So be sure to subscribe and click the bell so that you get notifications when new lessons are published. That's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.